April Fools! But actually, I'm not really sure what date sorting that's supposed to be. But it's not set correctly because something like 4 months ago anyway, I think, I plugged that in without setting the date. But anyway, it is in fact December 25th. A bit after midnight. Well, most of the way after midnight, depending on how you look at it. And it is time for a Christmas special of sorts. It's a video I've been making. It's not very special, but it's a video I've been meaning to make for a while. And I do have some Christmas lights here, some real old school ones that are in a loop. They're meant to go around a tree, but they get extremely hot, so I didn't dare. I have them carefully placed so the bulbs aren't touching anything, and you can see that there's some LED bulbs that I always have up along here. But yeah, some quite nice old sets. That's two strands there, and then over here is another strand of essentially the same thing. So anyway, this is going to be a video on the network situation. Why am I looking at my water cooler? Well, we'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, it all starts outside, which I'll insert a photo of as much as I can find for outside and inside the house, but too lazy to actually take video, and plus at this time of the night I don't want to wake anyone, and plus there's not too much going on in there anyway. But anyway, outside there's a Starlink dish mounted on the clothesline post, and the cable for that is actually running on the clothesline into the basement where the Starlink modem and router, I suppose, is, but the Starlink router is in bypass mode going to my OpenWRT router, which sits on top of the entertainment center inside, and that provides wireless connections for the house, and also does the actual routing. And let's see, I think it's doing DNS, not doing DHCP. But yeah, it's running OpenWRT, and it's a Linksys WRT. No, that can't. Is that right? Anyway, it's a Linksys something 1900 ACS. And then I have a couple of things inside connected to that via Ethernet. And I have a long cable running to a sort of patch panel type thing in the second basement, and just sort of a tiny 6-foot cable that I put together that was actually too short to be used between two devices by itself, seemingly. But anyway, I use that to connect the two patches, and then there's one going out here that I have buried in a tube out in the ground. And let's see, I'm probably going to need to turn this on. You can see coming in here, there is that tube with an Ethernet cable sticking out of it. Just Cat 5e, but it does gigabit just fine over this distance. While I'm over here, this is definitely macro visioning. Even though I'm not recording, I did not know that the older VCRs actually did the automatic brightness control, or whatever exactly it is, always. Because newer ones, it only starts messing with it when you record. But yeah, I guess finally a chance to use my video stabilizer. Yeah, that cable, anyway, runs underneath here. And then it goes over to my switch, which is a Cisco Catalyst 2960 something. 24 port. And then there is of course some management stuff over there, and some SFP ports. The SFPs would be pretty good if I ever needed fiber for anything. There's been talk about trying to get cable internet at another road and just running something back here, but I don't know if that'll ever actually happen, because Starlink has been okay. Okay, I can probably turn this off now. Turn this on. So there's my well, it is a router for in here, but all it's doing is being an access point and a network switch for a couple of things that I didn't feel like running longer cables back to the real switch for. But anyway, there is, as you saw, many wires going to many places. Yellow, except for this one, generally means for my unsafe VLAN, untrusted. And then, let's see, one of these is going to be my web server. Apparently I need to turn that back on. One of these is over here is going to be my web server, and then another one's going to be my trusted network server. And I don't know if you can see it, there's a UPS down there, and then kind of behind it there's a little patch panel. And then in this blob of cables I have running upstairs to the actual servers up there. And this is my VoIP box, just PAP2T. Don't have actual VoIP service yet, but if I turn this on, I use it for dial-up, and also this phone rings. I don't really do anything with the phone yet. But you've seen it if you've seen my New Year 2022 video. But anyway, yeah, the switch does most of the things down here. And there is a little CompUSA router that I am using just as a switch. It is kind of cool, but the management interface is quite grim, to put it in a way. Not much going on there. Okay, so now we actually have to go upstairs to see the rest of it. Let's see, let me turn on the light, that would be smart. There we go. Okay, you can see it looks kind of dark up here. Because that light is a CFL and it's quite cold up here, which is why it's dim for right now. But anyway, this is, if I'm working up here, I have this little banker's lamp I plug in. But anyway, that's my UPS. Got it for free from eWaste. It had working batteries. The only thing with it is the power button on the front. Electrically, at least back to the circuit board, it works, but it doesn't actually function for some reason. But you can turn it on and off in software. You can turn it off with the emergency power off switch. You just have to have a computer to turn it back on if you do the emergency power off, but it'll do scheduled shutdown and wake up and all that. The power button on the front is the only functionality lost. It's very strange, but free and good batteries. So anyway, here we have a Dell R710 Power Edge, and it's complaining about the temperature. That's why it's orange, and that's why I had this blanket here, because the fans will go nuts eventually once it dips below 0°C ambient. And in the middle is currently unused. It might be a game server at some point, but it is a DL360G7, I think. And then the top one is a Proliant DL380G6, which is my trusted network server, running Proxmox and a whole bunch of VMs. It's quite cool. And you can see another patch panel. Where is it? No, that's a piece of fake. Oh, that's foam, okay. And there's the patch panel there going to the back of the servers. And also for the dial-up, I have a USB modem back here. I used to use a PCIe modem, but I took that out, and I also took out a SATA card, which we'll get to what that was doing in a minute. But anyway, I took those out because this thing runs its fans insanely quietly, without any risers or cards, which I quite like. I'm going to try it with this Dell server because I think it always runs at 3600 and it has 2 risers in it, and I just wonder, because the minimum is said to be like 960, if I take those out, I do wonder if it would perhaps throttle down a little bit, which would be quite nice. But anyway, that about covers it for up here in the server room of sorts. So, I've never quite seen it like this before. I've never had so much snow build up here, or even here for that matter. There's been some pretty wild weather over the past couple days. No power outage here, but across the street there was, which is sort of interesting. But in any case, the snow is very pretty, and it's plastered all over the building. If I have any convenient photos, I'll probably put them up as well. But anyway, to kind of wrap this up, we've got this Dell Optiplex 7020 up here. This may become an HP Pavilion if not only the motherboard that I have in mind in that Pavilion supports Core 2 quads, and if Plex is happy enough with a Core 2 quad. But for now, it's this 7020, and it does a good job. It is my Plex server, as I just alluded to, and also now my SMB server, because, of course, it has onboard 3.5-inch SATA capability, unlike my servers upstairs, so it's a lot neater. And then on the back, there's an ATSC card and a PCIe GT610, because if you try to use the onboard video with this TV in any version of Linux, it won't work. At least any version of Linux that I tried. And to be fair, there were a couple of times that it did work, so I assume it is something that could have been fixed, but not through any method I was ever able to find. It seems to be a common thing with TVs and display corruption on Linux. I guess it's probably because the color space is different, but that doesn't change that I don't know how to fix it. So anyway, yeah, this is the Plex and SMB server, and it does quite well. So anyway, yeah, I guess we'll wrap up the video here, because I want to keep it brief enough that there might be a chance that I'll actually upload it before Christmas is over. So I have a few VLANs, which are quite nice, because it just separates some stuff. I guess my to-do list would be add a wireless network, or perhaps two, that are on the untrusted VLAN, but for that, I think I would need to get this thing onto OpenWRT, which it currently is not. And let's see, I also need to run some more cables upstairs, because currently there's only two, and I'm gonna have need for number 3 if I ever use that server. And also this HP one, which is gonna replace my IBM PC 350 P75 as a weather station and IBM home director, you know, X10 control server. I'm doing that because of power reasons. I put a really junky Celeron, I think like a 450 in here. I don't remember the speed, but it's single core, and this thing really doesn't use much power, and that's what I was going for, so that's pretty good. I would like to put a couple of old security cameras up, not for security so much as just capturing weather and other interesting things that I might think of, but mainly weather as far as I know right now. But I have not done that yet. I have some PoE security cameras and a PoE switch that I got for free, and I also have some composite security cameras which actually have infrared night vision, as you would say. So I definitely have some possibilities there, but I'm not too sure on what I actually want to do or where, so that has not been implemented at all yet. So, yeah, that is the end of this network video. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will do my best to answer them. And, if you're feeling really dedicated, feel free to leave a comment depicting your home network situation if you would like. But anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and have a good day, or night, or whatever.